Hi, folks. This is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant, and we're continuing on in part 3 of our discussion on making comics the easy way. I say easy because you need not rack your brain trying to think of a fantastical comic story involving Dungeons and Dragons, devils and demons, and comic book superheroes running around in tights. You need to look no further, than the space between your two ears, in your brain, in your memories, and by telling your own story. Even if you're only 16 years old, you've got a wealth of information packed in to those 16 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, or in my case, 50 years. And even if you go through the same type of experiences based on your age, based on your knowledge, based on everything, your personality and everything you bring to the table, each story is going to be different. And I can guarantee you, can't make a lot of guarantees in life, I can guarantee you that it's going to resonate with somebody, and it definitely did with me, as I explained in video number 1, a story of mine about bullying, where I learned karate, from my father, resonated with enough people and actually won me a free iPad, and that was back in 2010 when it was the hottest thing on the market, so it can definitely happen. I mentioned in video number 1 that it takes courage to tell your story, and I want to elaborate in this video a little bit on why that's true. Now, I feel the best way and the easiest way to make a comic is to tell your story, and we're talking about autobiographical, whether you go all out and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, unedited, or whether you tell bits and pieces and elaborate and exaggerate, which is totally encouraged, on some events and situations. But it takes courage because, let me tell you, when you start delving into your past, and I mean delving into those painful memories, you'd better be prepared, to have come up a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of hurt. We talk about strong emotional stuff that you might have forgotten about, and it's going to have a reaction, on you mentally, physically, and even emotional. And the reason for that is because it is personal stuff. We live in a culture, especially, if you're a man, women have an easier time with this because women, have a tendency, in women's culture, they talk about things, not just dresses and whatever women talk about, not just shopping or whatever, but they talk about deep personal things that they feel, that's on their heart. They discuss real things on a regular basis. Men have a tendency, if we feel something, if we experience something, we internalize it, and then we bury it deeper and deeper and deeper, so that it's really, really down there, below the subconscious, and we think that it's forgotten, but if we really start to concentrate on these things, we really begin to have an emotional response to it that's stronger than we anticipated. We find ourselves, we might get really, really angry, really, really agitated, really, really fearful, and I'm talking about adrenaline rush, heart pumping, sweat coming down, the forehead, fearful, or, we might just become emotional, and even start crying. When I originally did my comic, about bullying, I became very emotional because initially when the comic was done, like I said, it was done as a Father's Day gift for my father. My father and I, up until, like most fathers, we had kind of a push-pull kind of relationship. He grew up in an era where the men were very stoic, somewhat unemotional, somewhat detached, from the kids. And I, just had this kind of fear of him. So there was this constant kind of, conflict thing that was just always there. This wall, that was always there. And I was trying in my adult life to kind of connect, with him, since I had kids and I had been married, and I was trying to, make some kind of a bridge, and I wanted to give him something for Father's Day that was more than a tie. And so I was racking my brain. I said, there's got to be some kind of memory where we shared, some type of intimate moment. And what came up, out of nowhere from my subconscious was this incident where I was being bullied, getting my glasses broken. I had these Coke bottle glasses that you wouldn't believe. Trust me, you want to read the story, go and find it online here somewhere, in one of my videos. But, I was getting beat up, and my dad, he bought a karate book, Bruce Technic karate book. That's all I'm going to tell you because it's a good story. But he bought this karate book, and here's my dad, this unemotional, taciturn, mean kind of guy. He's teaching me karate. And when I kind of focused really on that, because I had to focus, I had to bring all of those memories up just to draw the events correctly, it had an emotional response in me. It made me cry. Because up until that point, you kind of wonder, did my father really love me? I can't, outside of him buying food for the family and everything, did we ever share a moment? Did we ever play ball together? Did we ever have a father and son moment? And up until that point, I really couldn't think of any. But this incident was so personal, so precious, so uncharacteristically like him, that it brought up all of these emotions. And let me tell you, I gave him that comic, on Father's Day. And it became kind of, not just a comic, but a testimony, a love letter, as it were, an offering. Like, hey, Dad, I don't know if you know how much this helped me. I don't know if you know how much I needed you back then to do what you did. And it had effect on him too. And it started this whole kind of healing process with us. And all of this came about by me wanting to tell a story, by me having the courage to investigate those feelings. And so when you go and develop your own comic, go into the past, go deep into the past, okay? It might be a situation where, you're hurt by something, okay? Or a relationship that you had with a friend or a family member. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to go in as deep as you need to. You're going to get some good stuff that's going to resonate with other people, and also you're going to get an added benefit of it bringing about some type of emotional and spiritual healing, all from doing a comic book, all from telling your own story. And I'll be back with you in another segment to give you more tips on how you can make comics the easy way. This is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling.